JB here. October 8th, 2024, 9 o'clock. Really quick here. Just really talk about the market, some names I'm looking at, go from there. Take a look at the S&P futures are a little higher this morning. Well, actually, S&P is up nearly a third of percent, over a third of a percent after yesterday's pullback. S&P was down nearly 1% yesterday. No news, no catalyst per se. There was just the 10-year yields went over 4%, first time since August. You still have geopolitical tensions. We're heading into the earnings season, and we have CPI data on Thursday. So I guess, and then also we're right near all-time highs. So gave back some gains, well, more all the gains from last week because we weren't up over 1%. And we'll have to see how things play out here. I keep talking about some of the support areas, 568, 565. Those are two big spots right now on the SPY. Maybe we can chop around here and find some support. Overnight, Asia markets, I was talking about last week when they were going to open up, it was going to be up or down 5%. Asia markets, Shanghai actually opened up nearly 10% overnight. And then the China government was giving their press release around the stimulus package and the plan going forward, and they pretty much just reiterated everything that they had already talked about. So there was no news, no big updates, and then there was some monetary values which were substantially lower than what I guess the market was expecting. So the gains went from 10% down to 5% at the end of the day, and then the rest of Asia had sold off. So Asia markets were in the red yesterday. Besides China, but China was almost the Shanghai was almost doing a catch-up trade because it wasn't open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So if the markets were open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, overnight, China would probably have been down 5, 6, 7%. The Shanghai was down 8%. It's most since 2008. So you have all these different metrics to the upside, these historical moves, 30% over 5 sessions, biggest since 1998, whatever that data was. And now you have overnight last night, the Shanghai down, I mean, the Hang Seng down over 8%. But it's just volatile swings as the market tries to price in some of the stimulus. And, I call it the bazooka stimulus from China. It doesn't look like it's a bazooka. Maybe it's just a rifle or a grenade. I don't know. So hopefully some of that settles out. I still like the China names, especially WYNN, of course. So some of those obviously going to gap down with the overall with the market, but they're starting to bounce back. WYNN, which at times I could have locked my calls in for over 400%, still holding the rest of the 115s. I'll continue to hold those and might look for other strikes. All right, so that's overall market. The thing with what happened yesterday and especially last week too, it's like there was we had the Fed decision. We have data coming out, the jobs report on Friday. So you thought maybe that the VIX would be a little higher just based on some possible volatility and people hedging. But you take a look yesterday and it was like even when the market was finding a bid and bouncing off of lows, the VIX was still climbing higher. And then it was up 17% yesterday. And when you look at, you pull the VIX back and normally it trades between 15 and 20, and 20 is kind of the high end of the range of the VIX. So to see it trade over 20 and then to be up 17% yesterday and I say only a 1% pullback, but it wasn't like we had a 2-3% pullback. So it has me very cautious. It's one of those things, not that it puts like a pit in my stomach, but I'm just, is there a bigger pull coming here? And, we're in a historically volatile month, which has had some big pulls before. Are we setting up for some kind of downturn? Is it the market pricing in some kind of geopolitical event where we're going to have one night, there'll be some black swan event with some, war in the Middle East? I mean, there is war, but escalating. We have that, and then also we have the Hurricane Milton with the intensification of the hurricane, one of the biggest on record. I mean, we've had hurricanes, we had natural disasters, all that's happened before. A lot of times, I remember back when Japan had the earthquake and the tsunami, you thought that was it for the markets, and Japan markets were off 2% or 3, more than that, I think, but rest of the markets sold off, and then they rallied after that because of the fact that it's going to infrastructure, right? Money just gets poured in. Rants for other days, but certainly watching that VIX. Until that VIX gets under 20, I'm probably going to remain on edge for the market. And I wouldn't say for the markets, but be less apt to be aggressive on the call side. All right, so that's overall markets. So you take a look at WYNN, and WYNN is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the past eight sessions, up nearly 1% yesterday, all the way up to 107.50 at the open, then pulled back. Still like this one for upside. At 2:30 today, they're going to have a analyst meeting to discuss their UAE resort, which finally got the UAE gambling license approval, first of its kind in that nation. And they're going to give financial projections. So I would assume it's going to be bullish. We'll see. There's going to be a presentation that comes out at 2:30, so I guess it'll be a PDF, but it won't be live streamed, this conference. So the PDF will give the data. I would assume there's going to be a nice spike at 2:30. Don't be surprised if I add some strikes on WYNN for some calls to play for that move over 115 to add to my October calls. And then you take a look at long term. I think 115 is a short term target. Uh, Roku finally added some Roku calls, and of course it's down here in the pre. Well, it's kind of flat, but it was it had relative strength regardless of what the market was doing. We were down nearly 1%, and Roku closed in the green. Typically, that doesn't happen. You start looking at the chart; it almost looks like consolidation before the next leg to the upside. So I think 80 plus this week. I was looking at the 85s, but the 84s, it was like 10 cents more to get the 84, so I got those. I'll continue to hold those. And not only that, if it does show strength today, I might look for some more calls. Netflix earnings are Thursday after the close. That could certainly provide some a bit in the stock going into that event. So real like Roku. AMD closed flat yesterday. It was kind of a choppy day. It's got a doji candle all the way up to 172.41. Down, I think it was 168.21 it hit. So a $4 trading range. It's up. It tested the highs from yesterday this morning in the pre-market. Still like this one, 175 plus in the coming days. I would love to see it 175 plus today. And then they have their event, the AI event on Thursday. I'll probably lock a couple more calls in today and just hold the rest. If it shows some strength, I might look to see if there's other decent strikes played for a move to the upside, possibly over 180 in the coming week, especially if that event has some positive catalysts. So don't be surprised if I add more strikes there. That's AMD. Now on the flip side, I got those V and MA puts yesterday, and I always try to, have a plan, right? Because very easy to get caught with your pants down. I always say that a lot. Is it's not the most fun sessions when you're in call positions and the market goes against you, and you're not don't have any way to either offset some of those losses or actually makes a profit. So when the SPY broke 568, and you could see at 2 o'clock, it was like a dam broke, right? There was just cracks all day. It was just melting, and then boom. Once 568 broke at 2 o'clock, it was like a fat finger all the way down to 566 quick. Went and got those Visa. The MasterCard puts first, and then I got some Visas. If you look at MasterCard, and I was looking, I don't even know what the implied move is today. I'll find out at the open. It was only 1.8% on MasterCard. So you get another 1% down day. The call is going to be at least a double. I mean, excuse me, the puts. I'm used to saying calls. And similar with Visa, you start looking. I posted yesterday in the chat room and on audio. Definitely a bear flag setting up. Doesn't mean that's 100% the case and gonna happen. But the bear flag, you typically take the mast of the flag going down. So if you take a look at Visa, it was 292 all the way down to 270. So that's a $22 move. So then you divide that in half, and now you look at that's an $11 move. So 263 or so will be a short-term target, at least to the downside on Visa. MasterCard, maybe. So you look at the 50-day moving at 475. I think you can test under 480. It did get a price target upgrade this morning from Citi. I think they took it to 565, their price target. I mean, just more to me a function of the stocks right near all-time highs. So the analysts have to keep ratcheting up their stock prices to just go with the flow. All right, so that's Visa, MasterCard, Redfin, just so disappointing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't even add how many down sessions since mid-September. Tested a 50-day moving average, 1015, bounced. Need that to hold. It tested 1001 yesterday. Just kind of disappointing. But I think if there's a silver lining, it opens an opportunity for a nice reversal at some point. Story hasn't changed in my opinion. So maybe some calls to play into its earnings, which again, one of the big catalysts have obviously the lower rates is a catalyst. Higher demand for housing, not only sellers, but buyers. And then you also have the I'm losing my train of thought here, but you also have the fact that the company's going to be profitable, whether it be this quarter, the start of next year. So all that, I think, all the ingredients for a nice move to the upside a resumption of its upside. Redfin turn, similar situation, just been ugly since its offering. I mean, not much to do here. At some point, I'll look to add some more strikes on turn. And then last but not least, if we do reverse the gains, the VIX remains elevated. We don't get a decent bounce today. I'll start looking for some more put hedges. MDB is one. It's hanging at its 50-day moving average. Tends to be volatile. If the market sells off, it usually sells off in tandem. Might look for some strikes to play for its gap fill, maybe down to 242 or so. I mean, that's would require a big move to the downside in the markets. But if that does happen, I could see MDB trading there. So that's probably the better trade. I was looking at ServiceNow and Lam Research and Broadcom, but probably MDB puts. And I think that's it, folks. We have about 20 minutes to open. Let's have a great day. Rock and roll.